Welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm Sharaad Kuttan. With me, Ahmad Fuad Osman and Shabbir Hussain Mustafa, both involved in at the end of the day, even art is not important. A mid-career show that, in some ways, the title almost anticipated the controversy that followed. I do want to start with you, Mustafa, in terms of what the role of the curator is, and your role in particular. You already said many months of discussion, back and forth. But so, what is the story you want to tell, and what is it that you think Fuad's work represents in story form?
So, as a curator, I'm interested in the kind of space that artists can act within, and so much of my work attempts to enable this space to not just expand but also be generative in terms of debates and discussions that have meaning to the times that we live in, to the challenges that we face as a group of human beings. It doesn't matter where we come from, but I hope we can share certain sensibilities within the exhibition. So in a sense, the manner in which I worked with Fuad in this particular case was to listen to him. And so he would speak and I would ask questions and I would keep notes, and then I would go back and come back again with more questions. And essentially this was a kind of a very organic process. And so in a sense, following the artist, listening to the artist very carefully, and then enabling the artist to act within the exhibition.
So curator is not just simply presenting the CV of the artist. Is that what you're saying? It's
yes.
It's not a simple listing or indexing of the thing. So what is it that the curator does? I mean, obviously some things didn't make it into the show after 20 years or odd years of working. And so what was the essential story that you wanted to tell?
Well, there is a real editorial process here, and at times we even had differing opinions, so we would look at a particular work and it's completely natural. So, and then Fuad would say, oh, I think this is important, and so I would ask him, why do you think it's important? And as we would discuss, we would realize, okay, maybe we can do without it, right? Yeah. There were other things that I felt should have been brought into the exhibition, and Fuad was like, yeah, but that's not really important, and so he would share with me. And so essentially we would build this meaningful kind of container within or into which the public would then enter. So this is sort of what the curator does, ranging from talking to the artists, talking to other stakeholders, including lenders, collectors, who are also very important because they are keepers of these works, and essentially creating an entire system, an ecosystem, a habitat, for instance, into which the public then enters and thinks about things. And so,
yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, Fuad, when you think about a mid-career show, were you thinking, I'm going to do the best of? It's going to be the best of Fuad Osman. It's going to be like all the bling and the big stuff.
Greatest hits.
Yeah, the greatest hits. Like Fuad Osman's greatest hits. I mean, what did you want a mid-career show to do for you, especially from an intellectual and artistic point of view?
Actually, I don't really know myself, I mean, I just wanted to put it together so that I myself could discover again. Because an artist, as an artist, we just produce, We don't really thought of, okay, this is, I did this before, now I'm doing this, and next I'm going to do this. At least for me, I don't do that, because I just keep on producing. So when I was given a chance to have this show, then I think it's good for me to, okay, this is a good time for me to put all those works for within these 30 years back together again, so that I can take a look at them again, and I will know where I am now and where I will, my next move or my next,
Was there anything that surprised you? I mean, not all of us think that in terms of grand narratives of our own lives, right? We don't kind of like plot the great, the memoirs as we're going through life. Yeah. But so was there something that surprised you in the way that the story eventually?
Yes, definitely.
What surprised you about yourself, about your work?
This one I have to credit the curator. That's why you know, curator is very important in the exhibition making, because I was mostly surprised with the direction that I am moving towards now, with all this museology kind of thing, you know, because my one of my current works, is still, because it's still ongoing, yeah, deals directly with museology, you know, preservation and archival. And I didn't know that it has been with me all along, because I did my internship when I studied in UITM. You know, I did my internship in Sarawak Museum. You know, that was in 89, 90.
89.
Yeah, because right after I finished school, I stopped that. You know, I went to Sarawak Museum for my internship, and then I did my final work, something to do with all these primitive objects, you know, artifacts. And then I stopped, I did something else, and then I came back to this few years back, and the curator pointed this to me within this show.
I want to ask you, and I'm going on the living here because I'm kind of sure, didn't you do a show where you talked about the different places you lived in over the years in the Klang Valley? Mm-hmm. You did, right? You had all the different houses. That was very interesting. It's like an archive of the different houses you lived in.
Actually, we discussed this.
But that doesn't appear in the show, right?
It does.
Is it the show? Oh, okay, I missed it. Okay.
That was one of the works I insisted on.
Oh, you like that work? Okay.
And I call it Homesick.
Homesick, yeah, the multiple places. I remember that. Okay. Final word I'll give to you, Mustafa. We have about a minute. What do you want people to take away from not just the show, not just the controversy, but also the work? I mean, Fuad's work and his work as an intellectual, as it were.
I've thought about this quite a bit, also in light of recent events. But this is something that I had shared with Fuad over the couple of years or so that we've been very closely working together. And as we talked and surveyed his art, and to some extent his life, which is also connected, I realized that sometimes it's not easy being an artist. It's not easy being a curator. It's not easy working in an institution either. But with Fuad, I think it's the courage with which one sees this through. And this is very humbling for me personally. And so, yes, I want to thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Thanks, guys. I want to thank you both for sharing your insights into what happened. And I hope people leave not just remembering the politics of what happened over the show, but they actually take a deeper look at the show, which is now back, fully instated, and runs till the end.
The 29th of February.
Okay, 29th February.
Please
couple of weeks left. Okay, remember, catch the show at Balai Seni Negara. At the end of the day, even art is not important. Ahmad Fuad Osman. It's a mid-career retrospective. Thank you so much for joining me on Let's Talk. I'm Sharaad Kuttan, only on Astro AWANI. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.